Master Grade Gundam X. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, Gundam.tk, and the Master Grade Gundam X. You've seen the unbox and the plates. Quite interesting. Looking ahead, don't forget to go to gundamreviews.net, and you can vote as to which future incarnations you'd buy of the Master Grade. Love to see your thoughts there, but now it's time to take a look at the individual parts before it all gets put together and punishes people via the moon. The manual is going to help you clear out the plates here, which are definitely going to be thinned out. And what do you get for the main body parts down there? Well, the limbs are as you'd expect, some good details in the waist section. The chest, not necessarily all that shiny, but the focus is definitely going to be on the backpack there. As you can see the satellite cannon there, you can see the handle is going to be attaching inside for the big beam sword. And there it is, the shield rifle looking sharp. 5 different extra manipulators there and a couple different attachment points to go along with the small Garrods. Tifa is supporting from afar this time. What a pleasant surprise it is coming forward nearly 20 years here, as back in the day this thing was a lot wider, a lot squatter, a lot fatter, and a lot more lined, which you could ignore of course, but this time Bandai, I think they've done it right. So let's start at the top. You can see the hips are going to be rotating there, twisting up and down. And on the front, just some nice little simple lining there, nice and deep. Check that out. That's not a seal, that's actually red plastic in there. But here it is, this bend, watch this whole thing here, is you can just see that lower part. First of all, incredible 180 there for the knee. You can see it stretch but still look good top and bottom. That purple accent is fantastic. But the way this part here opens up so nicely at the very beginning, I'm a huge fan. Again, the simple lining is going to be continuing the theme down there. You can see some little details in the back. But how about that clear purple? This would have been silver. But now I'd say that that purple on top of the white, it's not going to actually stand out all that much. If you don't see it straight on, you may just sort of get lost in the light. Nonetheless, it's better to have little gray details protruding all over the place there with no effort required on your part. And how about the ankle? You can see that it's going to be moving down there. Very good movement side to side, and they advertised already. The toes are going to be going down. You can see them move fairly freely there. This is definitely a huge step forward. And I'm just as impressed here with the waist section again. Simplicity and just some excellent streamlined shaping. In terms of the plastic, well, that big red piece is going to be looking good on the top. Little gray details protruding top and bottom. And for the sides, or the front skirts here, you can see simple lines, some edging over there. And underneath, it's actually going to be filled in with gray. I wonder, I may just want to go take some gray marker, a little bit of paint on top of that. For the inside, no fancy hips, so don't anticipate things like the unicorn hips and him falling over all the time. I'm hoping, at least not in this section. That theme of the purple is going to be continuing, running up and down his forearms, legs, and the side skirts. I think they look fantastic. Do they stand out? Not from the front, but anything sideways is looking great. On the back here, you've got a solid skirt that's going to have some movement. Again, some painting options there. And this one doesn't seem to be laid out clearly in the manual what to use it, as there are lots of options for attaching these into his very versatile Batman-like backpack. But if the blue shoes, some red on the waist, and those purple stripes didn't do it for you, how about this chest section? For me, starting at the top, this is pure win, I'd say. First of all, the neck, going to be moving forward and back, but look at that nice black striping there. Well, is it black? You're hardly going to tell, but it looks very, very dark up against the blue that it's underneath. But coming forward, check this out. The way they've got these little blue details cutting in to the white part here for the cockpit hatch, which you can lift up fairly easily. It's going to be even easier with a modeler's knife, but there we go. You can see that that's going to swing forward. I don't have my Garrod sitting inside there. He's going to be waiting for Tifa outside, but it's still not going to look bad when it's deployed forward, and a kind of thing where you could recreate some of the DVD or the old VHS covers. Now, how about this for colors? First of all, you've got the blue looking fantastic all over the place. Big chunks of red there. The chest Vulcans looking great in gray. No seals required, no lining required. I could have dropped some black there on the inside, but I think it looks good as is. But check this out. Just having the red, the yellow, and the gray there in short proximity is looking fantastic. Probably one of my only knocks against this guy from building it is that I wish they had gone with the silver seal or the mirrored seal on the inside there. It's going to be looking okay because they gave you all those details underneath. I could have gone maybe with a little bit more pronounced lining. Perhaps some silver lining might offset it. Nonetheless, it's going to be looking good, and half the time it's going to be in shadow anyway, as you're going to be looking down 9 times out of 10, you'd think. But onto the moving parts here. Well, how about the shoulders? They pop out very, very nicely. You can just see this smooth popping mechanism. They're going to come forward very, very nicely. They're going to come back. It doesn't feel like you have to punch them in to keep them in, so hopefully they're just going to be able to reach all over the place as he's preparing his satellite and his microwave of doom here. But this part fills me with worries. It's mostly positive up there as I drop that part off. But here, anytime that I see moving waist, usually that's good. Ab crunches, this and that, left and right. But when you're adding on whole chunks of weight on the back, this fills me with no confidence, and I have the feeling that he's going to be toppling backwards, and that's something that you may want to have to fix. Or figure it out. Bandai could have done something better sometimes. Less features when you've got a lot of weight on the back is more, and I'm looking at you, Phoenix, and many, many others. But how about subtle for these shoulders? Well, you're just going to be moving up and down a little bit there. Hardly any lining options whatsoever there on the front, but then you get to the sides and you've got gray, gray, gray. Some nice little stripes there. And that purple piece, which again, if you're not looking at it in the right angle, is just going to be looking black. The white behind it is going to be helping, but still, this would have been standing out a lot more protruding-wise and color-wise with the old school silver one. But purple is the right color. Bandai made the right choice, and the fact they did it in clear is just a huge plus again. And simple is better, as we've seen with the new high-grade one. But you can see the shoulders here. They're going to be moving up and down and twisting around there. This is going to fit nicely in to the actual shoulder itself. Oh, the days with the lining there. What do we have here? A single stripe and a single horizontal stripe. A little bit of shape down there. So much simpler. Look at the 90 there. You're going to get about, let's call it 135. Looking okay, but this is where the purple, I think, is finally going to be paying off. On the sides of the legs, you don't see it so much, so this one is protruding both more in terms of distance, but also it's just going to be looking a little bit sharper, I'd say, as it's going to be sitting on top of the blue and the white, and of course your eyes are going to be drawn there thanks to those blue cuffs, which are looking sharp. Hands simple, they're going to be not falling out, and you do have some options down there with manipulators with the extended triangular pegs there to hold the weapons inside, but the thumb is going to be moving, and this right hand is going to be standing out as it's ready to get a grip. With your other choices being the fingers straight out, you've got some closed fists, and there it is, the weapon holders. For the Shield Buster Rifle, I'm still a little bit on the fence here, but it is a huge step up on its previous incarnations. You can see the green seal there, and this will fold up, maybe too much, but that's necessary as it's going to turn into the shield itself. Check out down there, the barrels are actually looking pretty good, 2 of them. But yes, this white part, very simple lining, but you've got this nice black part that they gave us a whole new plate for. Going back to the AGs from Gundam Age, it's nice that they're doing that more and more. So what do you get to do? Well, you can open this. It just feels a little bit unconvincing the way that it's going to sit there. It's just attached on at a single point, and I've had it open up and fall off a couple times on me. The black there, you could go and paint this up, get rid of those little white dots there on the inside. But first of all, it's going to be showing off more of the actual gun. But from the front, it's a fair-sized shield for a less than 18-meter Gundam. But one of my favorite features is just that this is going to close up, go in hand, and instead of having to hold it out clearly like a rifle, it actually sort of feels like somewhat of a shield. And with so much of the focus on the satellite cannon, is this going to be getting short shrift? Well, this beam saber, the large size beam sword, is not. Unfortunately, it just wants to fall apart here before I go to deploy it. But what should be happening is he can actually reach back there. You can see the fact that they've got extra colors, black, gray, white, multiple pieces. Maybe you're going to have to glue it, but all is going to be forgiven when you attach this inside one of the most oversized, ridiculous beam sabers that you've ever seen out there. Armed Armor DEs. Yeah, this thing is still going to be giving this guy a run for its money. All sorts of angry juts of energy shooting out all over the place. Would be nice to have 2 of them, but I suppose we'll have to wait maybe for a double. But love these details because if you want to get them elevated, you can put the Gundam up on this custom action-based mount here. But even better, if the focus is going to be on the backpack, yes, there's weight and maybe his waist is going to be wobbling around, but at the same time, it should be well propped up, and it helps add the action base and get the eyes exactly up where it should be. How about the backpack? What the Gundam X is so famous for? First of all, I really like that you've got these options for attaching things in here. You can go and add on the shield rifle down below. Offset it, you can take the Vulcan and move it around up here. So let's talk about that. You can see that it's going to be moving up and down. It won't go down when it's actually over the Gundam's shoulder. But what do? You just twist it down 90 degrees there. The Gatling looking sharp as you can go and detach that. But otherwise, it's just a single round part there plugging into the back, actually octagonal when I look carefully. So hopefully it's going to stay in place nicely, but it's on to the back where the real show is. First of all, moving parts galore, good and bad, I suppose. We will be finding out. This is where the satellite cannon is going to be attaching itself onto. And you can see here that you've got full range of movement as you can open those up exactly as you'd expect. And what else are you going to be getting? Well, great details there. Simple lining, looking good. You already saw the twist mechanism, but how about this one here on the inside? You can see that this is going to be rocking forward 180. Then you've got a bend over there, and then you've got a full rotation down here. So I'm hoping that this isn't going to prove to be too many problems, but remember, if you want to get into hovering mode or the satellite cannon deployed, you're going to have to be twisting it around all over the place. And with everything on, from the shoulder Vulcans to the shield down there, does that look like an X to you? Well, it's about to. But let's go hovering mode first, where if you've got the manual, it's handy, but it's the kind of thing you can figure it out on your own. And now it's time, even though they're going to be in the back, to get them all deployed. So how do they look? I'm going to say not bad. Sort of miss that old gaudy silver, though. Anyway, it's going to be looking pretty good. You can see some marks around the edges. I don't know how intentional that is. But at the same time, those mirrored seals underneath, I think, look very good. But it's got to be those little semi-spheres on the inside that are just looking so sharp. It does sparkle in the light. It doesn't seem to be doing it in the camera. But in the room, if you move it around at all, it's definitely going to sparkle. And as you can see here, he's going to be blasting and hovering before he brings out the big gun. And if you wondered why about the X, well, Bandai kept you waiting there. Well, not too long when you consider the first couple episodes. But it's looking pretty sharp. I could have done a better job with the lining here on the front. But that arm so far is staying pretty steady. It doesn't seem to want to flop all over the place, so that's some good options there. You can bring it in the back so that this one isn't going to be banging into the backpack itself. But once you've actually got this deployed on the Gundam, the only place that you can go in terms of better is to go double. And it's time for some eye-catch music for an eye-catching head sculpt here, starting with the back. Great details there, protruding, a little bit of lining there, and a big camera lens, and that V-fin looking good from the back, and even better when you see it from the front. The Gundam X's head is one of my absolute favorite sculpts of them all, just the fact that he's got those uplifting Vulcan-esque ears there, but the fact that they went to such detail. Look at those white lines in there, the gray parts underneath, the red looking good under the eyes and for the goatee. The slit mask there is going to be good, no lining required, and those green eyes are going to be shining. And that red jewel, the green lens, and that all yellow V-fin, I'd say every color is going to be looking great. And when you match it up with the color of the actual body, this guy, well, the only thing that could be better is if he got angrier and got more of a beard and went double. Start to finish, this build was a lot of fun, as again, every time I look back at the old one, the boxiness is gone, the colors are better, the lining is better, the proportions are better, the gimmicks, well, they're all still there. Not necessarily better, it's just going to see if they actually hold up better in terms of the moving parts over there. But I like every single weapon. The black parts there on the shield are a big plus. The purple, somewhat disappointingly, doesn't stand out as much as you might like. But all the details, like the inner skirts there and the chest parts, all those color upon color upon color, all done up properly in plastic. Not to mention the big gimmicks back there and all the different plug-and-play options. Can't wait to see it all put together. And hey, there's a big sword as well. So stick around to see the MS, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to go vote gundam.tk, and thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. Now, surely a satellite cannon doesn't beat the might of feathers.